Hello guys, and welcome back to another tutorial, and today we're going to be taking a look at another requested version of Windows by Brian Tylo, and I would like to thank him for suggesting this build or this version of Windows that we're going to be taking a look at today. And that version of Windows is Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs, or just for short, Windows FLP. And I'm sure most of you out there have probably never really heard of this version of Windows, and if you have, you might not have really heard that much about it, but basically this was a version of Windows XP that was optimized for less powerful hardware, and it was basically designed to allow users of Windows NT 4, Windows 95, or 98 to upgrade, or sort of upgrade to Windows XP with just without having to get a bunch of new hardware. And this would be one of those operating systems that would fit perfectly in a business setting, where, let's say for example that every single computer that the business owned was an older computer running Windows NT 4, and to the cost of upgrading all those machines would probably be a lot. They could just buy licenses to this one operating system, which would be Windows FLP, and it would allow them to keep using the same hardware that they have, but they would still be able to get the newest features, or at least most of the newest features and security patches from Microsoft, which is always good to have, especially in a business setting. And that's basically what this was designed to do. And this was also based off of Windows Embedded. So if you've ever seen my Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 video, this whole installation process is going to look very similar to that. And it was released to manufacturing on July 8th, 2006. And what's also kind of funny is that even though this was released after Windows XP in 2001, Microsoft still does not provide support for it today. You cannot get support for this, unlike Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009, where you can still get support for that. So I don't really understand that. I guess that's just some weird thing that they're doing. But yeah, because this is a minimal version of Windows XP, you don't need to have a powerful computer at all to run this. The system requirements for those of you that want to put this on an actual physical computer is a Pentium 233 megahertz or a 300 megahertz is recommended. You only need 64 megs of RAM. Again, 128 megabytes is recommended, just to kind of give it a little bit more space to work with. You only need an 800 by 600 computer monitor, and you only need 610 megabytes of hard drive space. And again, they say that they recommend 1 gigabyte, and network hardware is optional. So, and of course, I'm sure that is kind of for any version of Windows XP. Networking stuff is optional. But basically, the main limitations that this version of Windows had is it did not include Paint, Outlook Express, and the Microsoft games, and that was about it. And it could also not use the Windows compatibility mode feature, where you could run programs for an older operating system and it would run them sort of in that mode. You can't do that in this version of Windows, and again, that's something that they took out to save space on the actual installation CD, and to just make this a much sort of thinner operating system, as it is described by Microsoft as a thin client. But anyway, so let's just get started with the installation process like we always do in these videos. And I'm going to be using VMware Workstation 10. You can of course use whatever virtual machine software that you want, or you can just do this on a physical computer, as long as you meet those very minimal hardware specifications. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to create a new virtual machine. And if you're using VMware Workstation, you're just going to want to click on the typical option, as that's probably going to provide most of the options we're going to need. And then just click on Next. And then for the operating system, just like we always do on this screen, just select I will install the operating system later. And for the guest operating system, as obviously since Windows FLP isn't an option in here, we're just going to choose Windows XP Professional. and then just click on next, and give it a name. I'm just going to call it Windows FLP, and then just click on next. And obviously you're not going to need 40 gigabytes of hard drive space, as that's a little bit too much for a Windows thin PC type of operating system. I'm actually just going to give it 5 gigabytes of hard drive space, since it says that it needs or actually it only needs 610 megabytes, but it recommends that you at least have 1 gigabyte. I'm just going to give it 5 just to, in case I want to install some programs on this later. And I'm going to store it as a single file, as I find that works a little bit better for me. And then we're going to just click on next, and we're going to click on the customize hardware option. So I'm just going to leave the RAM at the recommended Windows XP preset, and this is probably plenty of RAM for a Windows thin PC client like this. Again, you only need 64, yes, I believe it is 64 megs of RAM is the minimum, but again, it recommends that you have at least 128 megabytes of RAM. Processors, I'm obviously just going to leave at 1, and for the new CD DVD drive, you're just going to want to use the ISO image file, and you're just going to want to browse to the Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs ISO file, and again, that link is going to be down below for those of you who have not downloaded it yet. And something else that I should mention is this comes pre-installed with Service Pack 2 of Windows FLP, and later in the video I will show you how to get it upgraded to the latest version, which is Service Pack 3, which provides all of the newest features for it. But once you have this selected in here, you just want to click on Close, and then click on Finish. It's going to pop up with a new virtual machine with whatever name that you named it up here. And since this is not a beta, we're not going to have to set any BIOS stay back or anything like that. We're just going to have to click on the power on button up here, and it's going to begin powering on this virtual machine. And we're just going to let it do that here. And just like in Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009, we're going to have a Windows XP boot screen, and this to probably any novice user would look exactly like Windows XP, except for this setup portion here. Once we get after this, it looks exactly like Windows XP. There's only a few minor differences that I will get in to showing you later. Probably the biggest one is the whole setup process here. But this, so far, it looks very similar to the Windows Embedded POS Ready setup. It looks very similar to that, but we're just going to click on next here, and we're going to accept the license agreement. And it looks like, again, we're going to get that option where we can either do an interactive setup or an unattended setup. Again, this would be perfect for businesses who do not want to sit in front of this computer and enter all of the settings by hand. If you had like a file or like an answer file, I think it asked for somewhere, yeah, like an answer file, you would just have it read the answers off of that. But I don't have one of those. If you guys have one of those made, you can obviously use that setup. It would probably be a little bit easier. But you're just going to want to choose the first option here. I want to set up Windows on my computer, and then choose the interactive mode here, and then click on next. And then you're going to want to type in your Windows FLP product key, which is also going to be down below as well. So now you're going to want to enter your Windows FLP product key, and because that this is not yet considered abandonware and this is not a beta product, I'm not going to be able to put the Windows product key down below. So you're going to have to find that on your own. Once this becomes abandonware, which won't happen for, I think, so once this becomes abandonware, which won't happen for like a few years now, I will probably update this and add the key in there. But for now, you're going to have to go out and find the key on your own, mainly because I don't want to, like violate any terms or anything like that by putting in this the key in the description. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to enter in your Windows FLP product key, and because that this piece of software is not yet considered abandonware and it is not considered a beta product either, I cannot put the product key down below, mainly because I don't want to violate any copyright laws or anything like that. So you're gonna have to go and find the product key on your own, which I'm sure most of you know how to do that. Yeah, so sorry about that, but you're gonna have to go find the product key on your own. But once you have your product key entered, you just want to click on next, and now it's going to bring you to the regional and language options, where you're just going to have to choose your default input language and your time zone and all that. I'm just going to leave this as a default because it's fine for me. And then you're just going to want to click on next again. And so this is where you can change the configuration to make it fit how much space that you have on your hard drives. You can even make it go below 651 megabytes if you want to by doing the minimum configuration. It brings it down to 611 megabytes, so if you have like a really small hard drive, this one would probably be better for you. I'm just going to click on the custom configuration, since we have plenty of space on this virtual machine, and we're going to see what components we can choose to install. So we will select additional driver support, Internet Explorer, language support. I don't really need support for those languages. Local management support, sure, we'll do. We'll just do all this. Why not? And see, that brings the space required up a lot, from 651 megabytes. But and see, you can actually have Windows Messenger and Windows Media Player, but these would be unchecked by default unless you come in here and manually check them yourself. I'm just going to have this selected and then click on next. And you're gonna have to choose your hard drive. I'm just gonna choose the main hard drive I have here, and actually you have to choose the unpartitioned space here, and then you have to click on create partition. And this is actually very similar to the Windows Vista setup, at least at this point, where we can actually format the hard drive and create partitions using like a keyboard and mouse and like an actual graphical interface, which you can't do with the retail version of Windows XP. So I'm just going to leave this set as 5,114 megabytes, and I'm just going to click on OK, and it's going to make a new partition 1 here, and we're going to just select that and then click on next. And you can change what type of file system you want. Obviously, you just want NTFS, unless your hard drive didn't support NTFS or something like that. Allocation unit size, leave that as a default. Volume label, I'll just put an FLP. Drive letter C, and we'll just perform a quick format since we are in a virtual machine here. And we're just going to click on next. And you can type in your name and your organization, and you can put in a computer name. I'll just do FLP VM, and you can type an administrator password. I guess you actually have to type one of those in. So once you have your admin password entered, you're going to want to set up your TCP settings. Now, most routers do this by default. We saw this same thing in Windows POS Ready 2009. You can just probably leave all this unchecked, unless like you want to specifically give this a specific IP address and a default gateway and a subnet mask. But if you usually connect to like any network, it'll do all this for you, just like automatically. But we're just going to like leave this all unchecked and then click on next, and we're going to just leave it in the default work group here, as I don't want to make it part of a domain. If you wanted to, you could set that all up here. And now it's going to finalize setup. You could make sure that this is all correct here for you, and then you just want to click on install, and it's going to begin formatting the installation partition, and it's going to copy the operating system image to the installation partition. And once it does that, the installation should be done, and we will probably boot back up into the full-on operating system. So I will pause the video here, and I will come back once the installation is finished. Alright, so now the setup is preparing to restart the computer. I'm just going to click on reboot now, just to kind of speed it up a little bit. And again, I believe from this point on, it's going to look pretty much like Windows XP. You're probably going to notice a few differences, mainly in probably the desktop wallpaper. And this right here usually doesn't happen in Windows XP. Whatever it was doing there, the first boot agent, that usually doesn't happen. This right here usually really doesn't happen in Windows XP. But besides, I mean, these are just like little minimal things. And besides that, I mean, I think this looks very much like Windows XP. But what this is doing here is just going through and doing a few things it has to do on first boot. And it's probably going to either restart again, or it's just going to log us into the admin account. I think we have to actually put in that password that we put in. So right now it's just installing PMP devices. I don't know how long this is going to take, but if it starts taking too long, I can just pause the video and I can come back once we're finished with this. Alright, so after about 3 restarts later, we're finally done with the first boot agent. And we are booting up into Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs. Probably for the first time. I don't really know why the first boot agent was taking so long. I guess it just, I guess that's just what it does. But right now it says it is applying computer settings, and it should ask us to log in here, and we're probably going to have to use the administrator account and that password that we made, and later we can make a new user, and I can of course show you how to do that if you don't know how to do that already. But the main thing that we're going to be focusing on is getting this updated to Service Pack 3. But here you're just going to want to either actually press the Control Alt and Delete keys if you're on a physical computer. But if you're in a VM like I am, you're just going to want to find the option that says Insert Control Alt Delete, and then obviously press that button, and you're just going to log in with the administrator account, and then I think I made the password like that, and loading your personal settings, and we're logging in. And yeah, probably from this point on it's going to look very similar to Windows XP. Again, you probably heard the Windows XP startup sound. As I said, this probably to any novice normal user would look just like Windows XP. The one thing that is a little bit different and a little strange is that the icons actually they kind of remind me of the Windows 2000 icons, and I guess that's something that they didn't change again to make this work better on older computers. That's something that they probably didn't really change. Or just save space on the installation CD, or whatever. There's probably a reason behind it. But so the recycle bin icon looks like this now, and the my computer icon looks like this, and all of these icons in here look a little bit different as well. But the whole theme is here. The whole Windows XP Luna theme and everything is all here. We can of course open up the C drive, and we get this same window here that says these files are hidden. We get the same thing as like we do in Windows XP. The folders are probably only the big giveaway that we're running some a little bit different. But so now let's just go in, and I'll show you how to make a new user if you don't know how to do that already. We just open the Windows control panel and click on user accounts, and it's gonna bring up this window, and it's gonna want to click on create a new account, and I'll just want to pick an account type, and we'll just choose computer. Now see, this is actually kind of interesting. You can't choose the limited option. You can only choose computer administrator, and I guess because you probably wouldn't really be using this at a home. This would probably kind of be intended for business users, so I guess everyone would be like everyone would be some form of an admin on the entire network, so I guess that's why they kind of took that option out. So let's do that. And now we have this account which has no password on it, so I'm just gonna actually log into that. So we can just go here. You see we don't have any switch user mode or anything like that. We can just log off of the entire account and then log back on. So that's what we have to do. Is we're going to have to again press Control Alt Delete. There's also no welcome screen, so that's also something that they took out as well. But again, something in a business, you probably wouldn't really be using the welcome screen anyway. You would just be using the classic login prompt. So now I'm going to actually bump up the VM resolution here up to 1920 by 1080, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see here. So let's do that. I'll make this full screen. And okay, so now, like, strangely enough, we get the Windows XP icons. So that's kind of strange. Maybe it's just because maybe that's because we made the resolution greater than 800 by 600. Because I guess that these icons don't work properly if it's on an 800 by 600 display. So that's also kind of interesting, I guess. So yeah, now we have all the Windows XP icons. So just kind of forget everything I said about them not including the Windows XP icons. They are here. You just have to make your screen resolution bigger. So yeah, you can see we got all the old folders and everything from Windows XP. So yeah. But now what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to update this to Service Pack 3. And there's actually just one file that you need to run. I'm just going to copy it over to the VM here. So there is only one file that you're going to need to run to get this thing updated to Service Pack 3. And I'm going to have this link down below. I'm just going to copy it over to the virtual machine here. Because I have it on my host computer. Obviously don't want to run it from the host computer over the network. That probably wouldn't really result very well. But anyway, this is just a standard Windows update package. I just have it renamed to FLP SP3. But basically what this does is it will upgrade this to Service Pack 3. I probably should show you that we are running SP2 right now. Let's do WinVer, and I'll show you we are, whoa, what in the world? Okay. I guess it's lagging. Hopefully it'll catch up, but yeah, you can see here. Okay, good, it just caught up. But yeah, you see it is Microsoft Windows version 5.1 build 2600 Service Pack 2. So by running this, we will get Service Pack 3, which is probably what most of you guys would want. If you're going to use this on like an older computer or something like that, you'll definitely want to have at least Service Pack 3. At least you're not going to get like the newest updates anyways with Service Pack 3 because they don't support it anymore. And well, kind of interesting, they do say it's a Windows XP Service Pack 3, but they do say here in the license agreement they do say Windows Fundamentals for Legacy PCs. Anyway, you're just going to want to agree to this license term, and then click on next, and it's just going to install it. Just like probably, I mean, if you've ever updated Windows XP before, I'm sure you've used this, or I mean, I'm sure that you've seen this screen before. But while it's doing this, I can show you. I'm just going to move this over here. I can show you just like how minimal that the all programs menu really is. There's not that much here at all. You see we just have Windows Update, accessories, which actually I think all of the accessories are here, which is kind of good because you would probably use all these things. I think we might be missing a few things. I just can't tell what they are, but they would be probably over here. Under startup, of course, there's nothing, but the only programs this comes pre-installed with is Internet Explorer, Remote Assistance, Windows Media Player, and Windows Messenger. And these two, you have to actually check that you want them installed, and if you don't, then they won't install at all. So but yeah, I think that we're just going to let this run here. And once this gets finished, it's going to be running Service Pack 3. And the installation for Windows FLP Service Pack 3 has just completed. So we're just going to click on finish, and it's going to restart the virtual machine. And guys, I think that's going to just about wrap it up for Windows fundamentals for Legacy PCs. I would again like to thank Brian Tylo for suggesting this version of Windows. And I would just like to thank all you guys for watching. I know that this video ran on a little bit longer than most of my tutorials do. But if you make it, if you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video's content and would like to see more videos like this, definitely be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any video ideas of your own, definitely be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I always enjoy hearing whatever ideas that you guys might have. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for continuing to support this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.